Have you ever wondered about other people who you can't tell what is going on inside their heads? Wow, that can happen for sure. And one of the ways in which this happens, we're going to talk about tonight. So stick around. This is Dorothy Kuhn, and I'm really glad to be sharing this really critical information with you about the kinds of big meta ideas that hold and contain the kinds of thoughts and expressions that we can have, that other people have, and they're the big cultural stories that are hard to put your finger on. They're hard to spot. And this comes from me being really curious about like these big cultural arguments that you notice just in the culture. One group of people wants one thing, one group of people wants something else, and it's not just two sides of one issue. It's a whole collection of issues that people will fight about, and like what holds collection one together and what holds collection two together. It was an incredibly important topic that fortunately got a lot of high-level cognitive and neuroscientist focus on really what, oh, I don't know if you hear my dog, but I do, really got a lot of focus from those great researchers. And hush, you. That dog. So anyway, so we're going to cover that a bit tonight. So there are two things, and we're going to talk about each of them just lightly, and then we'll have another segment on each of them. Sounds good? Okay, so it turns out, I'm going to cut to the chase, our neuroscientists and linguists had really they dove into what's behind, and they just were digging, asking a lot of questions to try to get to what could the internal structure be, because they knew from other research that they've been doing is that all thought is physically represented in your brain. It's your thoughts are a configuration of neurons in your brain that are configured in a particular way to hold the thoughts that you hold, so that the pieces of those thoughts, the texture and the subtleties of those thoughts can really kind of cohere together. Yeah. Anyway, and those thoughts can come together in collections. People used to think that common sense was commonly shared. It turns out, the research shows that common sense is what you hear the most often. And so, we know in the United States today that we have very siloed kinds of cable news shows. We might just call them cable shows. People argue over whether it's actual news or opinion. But in any event, that kind of siloing that started happening, over the past 20 years or so, has really given rise to very different worldviews from different sets of people, and there's not a whole lot in the middle anymore. Well, actually, there is a lot in the middle anymore, but it's vilified. And so so what's not in the middle anymore is a group of people who agree to come together even when they have different views. So it's like, what's behind all of this arguing and holding sides and vilifying the other side and those kinds of things? Now, the reason that this is important for women's empowerment is that there are two moral models that are behind this, and these moral models have their foundation in a concept of the family. We're going to just mention this lightly now, and on the next video we'll dive in deep on one of them, and then on the next video we'll dive in deep on another one. You'll recognize this. It's going to be really fascinating. So those two moral models, I'll mention the first. Well, I don't know if it's the first one or not, but it's the first one I'm going to mention. It's a hierarchical model. Think like military hierarchy. You know, it's got somebody at the top, and then somebody below, and then somebody below that. So who's at the top? In this model, the dad is at the top. The dad is the decider, and then the mom is below that, and the kids are below that. And there are all kinds of things that come out of the way that those kids are viewed, the way the mom is viewed, the way the dad is viewed in this family system. So that hierarchical model is called a strict father model, and punishment is a big feature in that model. It's not the only one, but I'm just giving you kind of the big highlights to get started. The other model is called a strong nurturant model. There are two parents, but they're co-equal in stature. They may have different roles, but they're co-equal in stature. They collaborate together. They have to take good care of themselves, because wimps cannot raise good children, so that they can raise children to grow up and be the best people they can be out in the world. So those are those two models. And on the next video, we're going to talk about one of them. So make sure and catch that next video, or we're going to have fun with this stuff. It's fascinating, and you'll love getting a clue. So Dorothy Kuhn signing off for now. We'll see you on the next one. This is going to be fun. Bye for now.